Hey guys, Two Ton Hasher here. Um, so I've been asked this question a lot, how I got started into Bitcoin. It's always just a huge, long story to type out or to answer in a comment on a YouTube video, but I figured I'd just do a quick video. Hell, it could be a long one. It's kind of a long story, but I also like to hear other people's stories about how they got into Bitcoin. It's There's some pretty good ones out there, and this video I'll show you, or I'll tell you how I got started. So I'm an IT guy. I've been in IT for damn near 20 years. I got started in '89, I think. Yeah, 1989 is when I got my first IT job, um, and I've been in IT ever since. So I'm, you know, quite the geek, I guess you could say. Not as geeky as some, but geeky enough. Um, I first heard about Bitcoin, I'm guessing back 2012. It might have even been 2011. My buddy, AIB, you know who you are. He, I remember him telling me about mining cryptocurrency, and it just kind of went in one ear and out the other. I think he was mining. I think he was mining Bitcoin on his desktop computer, and it might have been Litecoin, but I think he was mining Bitcoin. But anyhow, he told me about it. You know, it just went in one ear and out the other. I didn't have any interest whatsoever. I kicked myself today for that. But anyhow, that was, I don't know. I'm guessing around 2012, right around there. Um, and it wasn't until I didn't even really think about it or hear about it again until about a year later. Um, I used to play a lot of WoW. I was a hardcore gamer. I played a lot of World of Warcraft, and I one of my guild members, in the game was always talking about Bitcoin. And even then, like, I had no idea uh, what he was talking about. None of us did in our guilds, but this guy just kept going on and on and on about Bitcoin. And even back then, 2013, I ignored it. Didn't want anything to do with it. All we kept telling the guy was to shut the fuck up so that we could get on with the raid or whatever we were doing inside the game. And that was 2013. So about 2014, maybe a year later or so, um, I had a client. No, no, it was 2015. So 2 years later, Um, again, I'm still in IT. I used to do some consulting, and I had my own business. And at the time, one of my clients got attacked by ransomware. And granted, back then, ransomware wasn't very popular in the U.S. Um, it was I had never seen ransomware before, never heard of it, even as long as I had been in IT. But anyhow, my client got attacked by ransomware, or it was just a little PC running as a server, nothing crazy. It was just a small mom and pop shop. Um, the ransomware program was demanding $300 worth of Bitcoin. And so, yeah, here we are 2 years later. Here, Bitcoin's popped up in my face. One of my clients is stuck, and none of us had any idea kind of what to do other than pay the ransom because my client did not have a backup for his data or nothing. He was screwed. So, I basically told him, look, you got two choices. We either format your PC and your little server there and start from scratch, or you pay the ransom. There's nothing we could do. And he paid the ransom. And long story short, he ended up paying the ransom several times, and he still didn't get his money. I mean, he still didn't get his data back. He still didn't get his access to the server. So anyhow, that's a whole other long story as well. But my client lost all his data, lost like $900 worth of Bitcoin, and at that time, I had helped him. I walked him through going to an exchange um, and buying Bitcoin with American dollars, and it was a real pain in the ass, and it wasn't easy back then. Um, it's much easier nowadays, but I can't remember the name of the exchange, but it wasn't Coinbase. It was something else. Anyhow, my client lost 900 bucks of Bitcoin at the time. And at that time, I think Bitcoin was worth $200 a piece. I think it was like 223 if I remember right. $223 a piece. And it was just a kind of a, you know, I don't know, what's the word? Misfortune. I mean, it's bad mood, mood, bad mojo. That's what I'm trying to say. Bad mojo for Bitcoin. Bitcoin was just, evil. And I remember thinking at the time, well, this is kind of cool how hackers can get in there and demand money and have complete anonymity. There's no way they can get caught because no addresses can be tied to names. And even then, dealing with my client and all that stuff, I didn't delve into Bitcoin any further. I remember thinking how cool it was that the hackers could get away with this, but I didn't go any further. And another year went by. Um, last year. Last year, I went to Vegas. I went to Las Vegas for a users conference, and yeah, I went to Mandalay Bay Hotel, and it was my first time in Vegas, and I went there for a users conference for some software that the company I work for now uses for their medical records. Um, and it was the first time had ever gambled. I had never gambled before. And long story short, I was hooked. I walked out of that hotel with like $1,200 profit for playing roulette. And we just had the gambling bug. I guess it happens to pretty much everybody the first time they gamble, and if they win, you get that bug. So, and I had it. So a year ago, man, I just had to gamble some more. So anyhow, I came home from Vegas back to Florida, 1,200 bucks richer. Uh, and, and all I wanted to do was gamble. There's an Indian casino here, uh, not too far from where I live, but that was, an hour drive. So I was like, let me gamble online. So I started looking more into gambling online, and it's again illegal. It's illegal to gamble in Florida unless you're on like an Indian reservation or something. But so even online, you can't get away with gambling. Using U.S. dollars on any websites or anything like that. You have to physically live in New Jersey or Las Vegas or Nevada, and but I had the bug. I wanted to gamble some more. I wanted to make some more money. It was I was hooked. So I discovered these other gambling websites that you can gamble with Bitcoin or Ethereum or any other cryptocurrencies that the site something like this, like Bitsler. I don't know if anybody's ever been here. I've lost plenty of money here, but I was like, okay, I can gamble, but then I got to get some Bitcoin. How the hell do I do that? And that's when I discovered Coinbase. I was like, hell yeah, okay, let me get some freaking Bitcoin on Coinbase and I can gamble. So went up here, and back then, last year, just even a year ago, Coinbase was kind of a pain in the ass to get set up with. I finally got the account set up. It took 2 or 3 days to get your checking account and your credit card authorized or authenticated, whatever the word is. And I got some Bitcoin. And got me some. Then I figured out how to send Bitcoin to, from this wallet into, the gambling website's wallet, and then I could gamble. And long story short, I lost all the money that I won from Vegas on this website right here on Bitsler. Uh, the gambling bug left me very quickly. So it was, after, several weeks of gambling, and, I'd had some good days and bad days, and then trying to cash back out. And I ended in the negative as far as the gambling stuff's concerned. But that was when I started taking Bitcoin a little more seriously. I thought it was super cool because I don't think Bitsler's in the United States. I think there's other websites as well, you know, Burst Nation and stuff like that. And there's all kinds of gambling sites now, but I don't really gamble that much anymore. I do play around every now and then, but uh, I thought it was super cool that you could send money from here in Florida to anywhere in the world and gamble with it and then get your money right back out instantly. It was pretty damn fast. Within, 20 minutes at the most. So it was then it was then I was like, okay, the hell is Bitcoin? And I was just like, that's when I fell down the rabbit hole. Once I started, Andreas Antonopoulos, if you ever watched that guy, he kind of told a similar story about how he got started, and I was pretty much the same way. Once I started delving into what Bitcoin is and the technology behind it, being the geek that I am, I fell down the rabbit hole, and I don't think I came back up for 3 months. I was just infested with, uh, got to have knowledge. Um, and then there was the mining aspect. So after, I don't know, several months of learning about cryptocurrency, and it's like, oh, mining. Hell, I remember my buddy was doing that years ago with Bitcoin and so on and so forth, and then I discovered, okay, well, I can build some rigs, and started off with my gaming PC and started mining with one graphics card, and so on and so forth, and that turned into a 6 card rig, and then made a few bucks, and then went into debt and built several more rigs, and it just kept going and going and going. And yeah, and now I have 13 rigs, and now it's just, I'm using every ounce of power my house can possibly output. So yeah, that's my story, guys. It's not the greatest story, but it, it's funny how I f- got into this just by gambling in Vegas. Basically, that's what really opened my eyes to Bitcoin, was gambling in Vegas. I came back and had to gamble some more, and that's how I discovered Bitcoin for real. Even though I'd heard about it years ago. But yeah, that's it, guys. If you ever, if you can, leave a comment and tell me a story about how you did, or maybe this video will inspire other people. For some reason, I enjoy hearing about how other people got into Bitcoin. So I don't know. Hopefully you'll like this. If not, let me know. Anyhow, guys, that's it. Talk to you later. See you next time.